to your viewpoint. I am Rotimi Kintunde. If you're joining us for the first time, this program is designed to encourage moral values in our society and, of course, provide possible solutions to issues we might be facing. And, of course, as you know already, that there is a scarcity of cash, fuel, and all of that. And, of course, a lot of Nigerians are going through a lot of issues as regards fuel and cash. But then we've decided to look at how these issues or the development may be affecting their mental health. And that's why we've decided to talk about this issue, because it is believed that a lot of Nigerians are becoming so vulnerable to some mental health conditions. I have a guest in the studio this time to talk about these issues. I have the CEO of Adicare Rehabilitation Center. She's also a psychiatric nurse. That's Veronica Eze. Thank you so much for joining us this time.
Thank you, Mr. Rutimi.
All right. First, I need to know your view about what is happening in society as we speak now. The fact that a lot of people have to queue endlessly, from morning till evening before they could get their money, so to speak. And how have you been coping?
Oh, this is a very good topic coming at the right time. It has not been easy for the populace, for Nigerians at large. Many have sleepless nights, many are faced with uncertainty, many feel like giving it up at this point. Some have even written their suicide notes because of what they are going through. And looking at this, what is scarcity to start with? That is the question. What is scarcity? Economics has always told us that scarcity is increase in demand. When there is an increase in demand, absolutely, there is scarcity. Now, what is this type of scarcity we are talking about? We are talking about scarcity of wealth. We are talking about scarcity in money. Yeah. And this gradually will lead to scarcity mentality. Every Nigeria presently is going through scarcity mentality.
What does that mean? That
scarcity mentality
strange,
is
so
actually a broad topic.
Okay.
But today it has come to dim light.
Does it have anything to do with our health or what?
Yes.
What is that? Okay.
It has something to do with our head.
Okay.
Scarcity mentality is a process whereby your mind is programmed to thinking about scarce object, scarce item. It gets to a time you will not be able to focus on other things. The only thing you focus on is on that object that is scarce, thereby reducing your productivities, your performance, your IQ level.
But as it is now, sorry to cut you, fuel, cash, these are two things you almost cannot do without.
Yeah.
So do you expect people not to focus on all of these things, how to get them and all of that?
That is what I'm saying, because that is why it is now scarcity mentality. Scarcity, the only thing we talk about today is scarcity of this, scarcity of that. As I was coming this morning, I noticed there was really no hold up from my end. That means many people dropped their car. So this man that is not used to moving out without car today is forced to trek or to join public transport, which they stopped years ago.
Okay.
This will affect their psychic. Some people dress gorgeously out. Some are no more used to touching people that are sweating in the bus, and some are not used to riding without AC.
Having contact with them.
Having contact with people, especially since after coronavirus, people grew to use their thing the way they wanted it. Many people don't jump bus, but some people still jump bus. This set of people that their mind has been programmed to use their private cars today is being forced to replan another way of life. That is jumping out early, jumping into bus that is not a private vehicle.
Okay, that's interesting. Today is Valentine's Day. We'll quickly talk about that. Your view, and it looks like a lot of Nigerians are not even putting on red as it used to be. What do you think is happening?
The same thing we are talking about.
Although you have a touch of red on
Yes, I have
what you're
to
wearing.
because people need to still feel belong,
Mm.
whether we like it or not. We are
Okay.
alive.
Mm.
Well, as I was coming this morning, unlike those days, people will wear something with touch of red, even in the offices. I was going to office this morning. I couldn't see people wearing red
Mm.
all the way from my end to Oshodi. I hardly see people. All I saw is people
Anyway,
struggling.
possibly that's not the only way to celebrate the day, so to speak.
But why was it
Which-
like that before?
Um,
Our minds
what-
are occupied with
Okay.
other things.
Mm.
I was telling somebody, you're not on touch of red. Say, what are you talking about? My mind is not there, Joe.
Mm.
You see? And gradually, the pleasurable things are wearing away from our lives.
Wow.
That is exactly what scarcity mentality can bring in our society. Things that gives you joy, gradually you are no more interested. And when this continue, gradually you see people going down. Eventually, some people will come down with depression.
So, in what way do you think what is going on right now can affect people's mental health? How? How can it affect?
Anyway, it has a lot relationship to our mental health. Now, let's take a look of family that the father is well employed and is providing for the children. This father comes home every day complaining, and you have little children. These children grow up learning how to complain. And this father is not able to provide. The mother is not happy. There is displacement of aggression, fear, fights, and argument, misunderstandings in whole. Father that was not used to hitting the mom start hitting the mother or being insultive verbally. Before you know it, the children are learning. The house gradually becomes distorted. That is one aspect of it. Then another aspect of it, the morale of individual is reduced. There is decrease in neurotransmitter of the brain, especially serotonin, because you are sad. You are not happy. When you are not happy, the functionality of the brain is reduced. A lot of activities is reduced. Honestly, happiness goes a long way in increasing or building our mental health. And if somebody continue with process of not being happy over a period of time, the person will cave in. You might not even come down with only depression. Taking example of family or individual that comes from a family that has history of mental illness, like schizophrenia, mania, and so on, it will trigger mental illness. And that not alone, due to frustration, you see people misplacing aggression. They could fight and kill individual or kill themselves.
I'm sure you must have seen those videos that are going viral where people had to fight and all
So
of that.
many,
as
so
a
many
result of
people are even
frustration.
naked. And imagine, I saw a viral video. A woman was naked in the bank.
Is
half
that
naked.
is that about mental condition? Does it have anything to do with one's mental health condition?
Yes, it has something to do with your psychological condition. It has not come down mentally now. It's not an illness yet.
Okay.
But psychologically, she complained that her child has not been able to go to school for a while, and this is her money. She need. She's not psychologically balanced at that period. You understand? Psychology, you could use counseling to restore the person, but when it is psychiatry, you need to see a psychiatrist. You need to be placed on medication or both.
Okay, we're still going to talk about something very, maybe in a way related, and we have opinions on that, which is about work-related illnesses. We intend to talk about stress and all of that, anxiety, and some other occupational illnesses that may arise. Now, let's look at productivity level of employees at this time, talking about business, because all of these things would still contribute to the economy in a way. Let's look at how this can affect people who go to work and all of that. In fact, somebody was even writing on a social media platform that, look, at this time, employers should take it easy with employees
Exactly.
because some of them find it hard to get to work and all of that. What's your reaction to this?
Wow. Honestly, work is suffering at this time. I must also use this opportunity to thank His Excellency, Governor Sanwo-Olu, that reduced
Okay.
our BRT. He reduced it by 50%.
That
We are
means,
happy.
you
Just-
use BRT
Yes, so
frequently. Okay.
yes, so thank you, sir.
Okay.
We are grateful for that. For many people who could, do you know where some people are coming to work from to Lagos State? You have to enter vehicle up to 3-4 times, and you are not able to collect money. You are not able to collect money to eat.
That's
and I am
interesting.
talking of entering vehicle to your office.
In fact, something there was this picture that went viral too, talking about somebody who used 2,000 naira to collect 5,000 naira.
I did too.
At the end of the day, the person lost that money.
I met a woman at Tejo as I was coming. She lost her money. She was crying like a baby. She was crying like a baby. Imagine such mother. Maybe she has projected what that money could solve. Buy food for the family, do this, do that. But unfortunately, that money went. The woman was crying like a baby. If care is not taken, psychologically, that woman will calm down. She will surely calm down because it was not funny. Nobody was helping her because I have not been able to help myself. How much more of helping another person?
So as it is now, how do you think Nigerians can, of course, help their mental system with what is going on? Because this is something you cannot take off your mind. So how do you think, what exactly do you think is the best way to manage situations like this as an individual or as a family?
Yes, for me, there are many ways of easing yourself of this stress because the stress is not it's not for you alone. The first thing you do, you relate yourself with people with positive minds. Not people that will always tell you what you don't want to hear, nagging and nagging, saying the same thing all the time. Mix with such people. Then another thing is to be gratitude, show gratitude. Gratitude has a way of building you, psyching you up, making you happy, making you to forget unmet needs. You understand? Because you are grateful of what you have not achieved. By His grace, sorry, I have to use God because He's our pillar. God will definitely make a way. Once you are grateful, as much as possible, try to write out every day 5 things to be grateful for. You find out that you write more than 20.
Wow.
And then pushing back the ones you have not achieved. Because if you continue dwelling on the ones you have not achieved, you will not be able to perform. It will reduce your efficacy, your productivity, your mind will be going down, depressed, your neurotransmitter will not function well. So it's better to be grateful. And at this time, try not to overdo. Cut your coat according to your size or according to your cloth this time around. The piece of cloth you have might not be able to fetch you much. Just make yourself within that limit. Then know your financial strength. Okay, even if this win come to pass, what else? If I bring out all my money and use it to exchange money,
Okay.
how will I continue? Know your strength. Plan yourself very well. Engage in exercise. Burn on needful energy. Burn them off. By the time you are exercising, you are thinking positively instead of dwelling.
You know, a lot of people trek now, and it looks like
part of it.
they are forced to do that exercise, or the situation
I'm
is
forced to
forcing
trek
them.
to this place too. I wanted to book an Uber. I remembered walking around. How do I get to this place with construction everywhere? I said no. Let me ease it off. Yeah, I had to trek and a lot of trekking. Then other thing you need to do in order to remain balanced at this period, you connect with your families. Connect with your families. Connect with your friends, positive ones. Do visitations if you can, but if you cannot, make phone calls and you as much as possible reduce junk foods because once you are stressed up The first thing I must say, you must reduce stress.
Okay.
If you are overstressed, you always require unnecessary foods that will destroy your system. So by the time you exercise yourself, you will go for positive foods. But when you don't burn those stress off, you find yourself eating junk
can
foods.
people really avoid that? Talking about traffic and all of that, the number of hours people spend on the road sometimes, the number of hours they spend at work and all of that.
So you have constructive stress and unconstructive. You have eustress. Eustress are stress that you need to perform well. Fine, I know traffic, it does not help you to perform well, but you have a job. It's something to be happy for. When you wake up and you don't have anywhere going, you are closer to grave. Because you will think, and that is what is bringing frustration here and there. When you don't have a job, the fact that you are in traffic, I'm not the only one on the traffic. I am going for my daily needs. I'm going for my daily activities. At the end of the day, I'll be rewarded, and the reward is my salary.
What I'm trying to say is that talking about what people consume, you see, a lot of people in the course of going back home and all of that, they tend to get different types of drinks and all of
So
that.
it's discipline. You need to discipline yourself. Yes, you need to work on yourself. You need to discipline yourself. Sometimes your body all your body needs is fluid. When Coca-Cola gets into your system,
Okay, we don't have to mention names.
No. Okay, sorry. When sweetened
Like soft drinks, yes.
soft drinks gets into your system, it doesn't differentiate it from water. The only thing is that this is chemical, this is water, but what your body needs when you are thirsty is fluid.
It's fluid. Okay. All right. We would still talk about that, but we need to go on this break. After this break, we'll be back to talk more. This is Your Viewpoint. Please go nowhere.
Did you know everyone feels anxious from time to time? Occasional anxiety is a normal reaction to uncertainty about what's going to happen next, whether that's in the next few minutes, days, or months. Anxiety often is described as sustained and excessive worry that a person cannot control, and is related many times to the anticipation of a future threat, such as fear of catching COVID-19 or a traumatic event. Anxiety becomes an obstacle for a happy, healthy life when it affects our day-to-day lives. Emotionally, anxiety can appear as excessive worry, fatigue, irritability, panic attacks, poor concentration, restlessness, and sleeping disturbances. While physically, anxiety can appear as chest pain, diarrhea or stomach upset, headache, increased heart rate, shortness of breath, and sweating. Here are ways to regain control and reduce the symptoms of an anxiety attack. Remember that it will pass. During a panic attack, it can help to remember that these feelings will pass and cause no physical harm, however scary it feels at the time. Try acknowledging that this is a brief period of concentrated anxiety and that it will be over soon. Take deep breaths. Deep breathing can help bring anxiety attack under control. Anxiety attacks can cause rapid breathing, and chest tightness can make the breath shallow. This type of breathing can make feelings of anxiety and tension worse. Instead, try to breathe slowly and deeply, concentrating on each breath. Breathe deeply from the abdomen, filling the lungs slowly and steadily while counting to 4 on both the inhale and exhale. Find a peaceful spot. Sights and sounds can often intensify anxiety attack. If possible, try to find a peaceful spot. This could mean leaving a busy room or moving to lean against a neighbor wall. Sitting in a quiet place will create some mental space, and it will make it easier to focus on breathing and other coping strategies. Repeat a mantra. A mantra is a word, phrase, or sound that helps with focus and provides strength. Internally repeating a mantra can help a person come out of a panic attack. The mantra can take the form of reassurance and may be as simple as "this too shall pass." For some, it may have more spiritual meaning. As the person focuses on gently repeating a mantra, their physical responses will slow, allowing them to regulate their breathing and relax their muscles. Walk or do some light exercise. Walking can remove a person from a stressful environment, and the rhythm of walking may also help them to regulate their breathing. Moving around releases hormones called endorphins that relax the body and improve the mood. Taking up regular exercises can help reduce anxiety over time, which may lead to a reduction in the number or severity of panic attacks.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We are still discussing issues relating to mental health, and of course, how the fuel and cash issues affected people or may have affected them, as the case may be. And I've been speaking with Veronica Eze, a psychiatric nurse, who has been telling us one or two things we need to do about how to calm down, so to speak. All right, let's look at mental health, the awareness. What's the level of awareness of mental health in Nigeria? Do you think people are aware of these mental health issues?
I think
And are they really concerned about it?
about mental health, the country does not have preparedness concerning mental health.
Okay.
And today, if I am to judge, I don't have the research. We're in pandemic state.
Okay, how do you mean?
Yes, why I say it so is that in every 5 homes, there is at least 1 or 2 that has mental issues. If not for regular psychiatric issues,
Okay.
we have minor neuroses. The major ones are the ones they see. What of the neurotic conditions? What about substance use disorders?
How would you explain that in a simple term? The neurosis.
We have neurosis and
Okay.
psychosis.
Okay.
Neuroses are minor mental illnesses, like anxiety disorders, panic disorders, the obsessional compulsive neurosis.
Okay.
You have there are like 6 or 7 that you do not know, and many people has it, and all of us are living together. You understand?
Okay.
This reactive depression is under neurosis. It is when it becomes a big problem when it is psychosis, and many people go through reactive depression. They never come out of it. It's lead them to major mental illnesses. You understand? Now, there was no enough preparedness. The society is not well informed.
Okay.
Many of them just believe that it is caused by witch, it is caused by our ancestral.
And that's about the major mental conditions,
But yes,
the major ones.
The major
Because some
mental
people believe that,
conditions.
okay, the anxiety disorder and all of that, some persons are unconscious about
don't
that,
know
so
it
to
is even a
speak.
problem.
Yes. But how is it a problem?
how anxiety or neurosis.
Yes,
is
that
a-
neurosis, yes.
How
Because
neurosis-
you've given us
yes,
examples of
yes.
what that neurosis can
How
be.
neurosis is a problem is that if it is not managed, it gradually affects both physical and mental state of the individual.
Okay.
Like an individual that is going through post-traumatic stress disorders is another form of anxieties
Okay.
based on what has happened. During NSAS, I was online counseling. I counseled and counseled and counseled until myself, I developed problem myself on my own.
Wow.
You understand? It is a big problem because if people are aware and get prepared before it happens, they will know how to manage it. If you are talking about obsessive compulsive neurosis,
Okay.
this is repeating an actions over and over. People does not know it is a psychiatric issue. This sexual disorders, it is a psychiatric issue. And look at the community today. A lot of things are happening. Where you look at social media, you see them slaughtering somebody. You see one thing happening that people are dying in silence. They don't know whom to tell because of anxiety disorder they are going through. They don't even know that it's a problem they can see a psychiatrist or a psychologist for. So I think we really need to double up in advocacy on mental health, even though people are knowing it.
Okay.
It's because many of us are having issues. That is why they are knowing it, which is not supposed to be. That is why I said no preparedness for this. Mental health bill, when did they sign it? For over years, they've been pleading for the endorsement. It just came in, but we thank God all the same that Baba signed it at last.
All right. Okay, if you have questions or contributions, you can send them to the numbers that will be showing on your TV screen. You can also drop them on our social media pages at your_viewpoint. We are still talking about issues relating to mental health concerning as it relates to what is happening in our society at this time. That's about fuel and cash. Now, let's quickly look at something related to the work environment, how people handle all of that. It is believed that some people get some diseases, so to speak, from work and all of that. But then, what is your opinion about that, about work-related illnesses or diseases, as the case may be?
Well, from time immemorial, there had always been work-related illnesses, which ILO also has put things in place on how to manage them. In your offices or different workplaces, like here now, what is common here is not what is common in factory. It's not what is common in psychiatric hospital. It's not what is common in a beverage or alcohol company.
Okay.
And you have different form of work-related illnesses, ranging from allergy. You have abdominal disorder. You have headache. You have accidents. You have injuries of different form, and then you have immune reactions, different things. You can even have deafness. For people that are working in a very noisy place, they will have to shout to communicate. Over a time, they believe it's a normal norm. When you are talking with them, they will continue to shout. They can't hear at a low tune any longer. So you need to shout for them to understand or hear, for them to hear you. And then you're talking about people in psychiatric environment. We are prone to injury. Sometimes patients injure us massively.
Oh.
Yes, that's why we are being paid hazard allowance. Yes, for this, even though the hazard allowance is not okay anyway, because severally you see some people, they will kick them, pregnant woman, they will kick and the baby will come down.
Wow.
You see rape at the point. You even see patients strangling you. We saw viral video of a patient killing a nurse. Not particular to only nurse. And then you go to factory. Somebody can be electrocuted. Somebody can fall to either to water or from height. A lot of things. Some people does not have asthma, but in workplace they had work-related asthma, and some also in workplace. They get a chemical nauseous. They inhale nauseous gases that introduce other things to their system. A lot of things. Even blindness, chemical can enter one's eye.
Wow. Now let's look at stress as one of the major issues. The other time you talked about constructive stress and all of that, but then at the time there were reports that people were just slumping, so to speak. Somebody probably as a result of work or something, somebody is working somewhere and slumps and die as a result of that. To what extent do you think stress can lead to death, unexpected death, so to speak?
Like I said earlier, we have eustress and we have distress. The eustress is the one that propels you to achieve. Like you're preparing for exam, you're going through stress. You won't sleep and nothing will happen to you except you overdo it. Then you are pregnant. Ask every woman, labor pain is very painful. But the joy of beholding this child will make you to do better and do more. But in distress, it's when you are straining the chemicals, the cells of the body, there is excess wear and tear. At the point of stress, let's take example of flight and fear and flight. At this point, there is chemical, adrenaline will be released into the system. Imagine where you have this stress continuously, the chemical will continue to pour. And what does this chemical do to the veins and the arteries? They constrict them. And when they are constricted, there is diminished blood supply to the vital organ. especially the brain and the coronary artery.
Okay.
Once there is no enough blood supply, what happens? The cells dies off. And at that point, what do you expect? Death. Irreversible.
Now, let's maybe as part of ways to reduce the stress people go through sometimes, like you as a health professional, like how long should people work per day, so to speak? Because we're aware that there are different types of jobs today and all of that, and sometimes people have to do extra time and all of that. From your perspective as a nurse, how long should a person work per day?
The truth depends on the standard is 8 hours in the day. But for those that do shift duty, they can go for 12 hours. At least there should be a break, 1 hour break. If you are able to break it and you continue, it won't hurt you. And then you are expected to rest for at least 1 hour or 2 in the day. And at night, you should gain up to 6 to 8 hours sleep, depending on the age. You understand? Small children need longer hours. The youths, for the teenagers, the youth, according to our ages. But the elderly, very elderly ones, where like write-up says it is not good for them to oversleep, to keep their brain active. So when you meet the standard of rest, and now it now depends on the type of job you are doing.
Okay.
If you are the one that operates heavy machine, you are the one that exhausts energy inside the sun, you understand? It won't be the same thing with this same man that a sedentary person that works, writes, and so on in the office. This person sitting down for long has disadvantage too, because if you sit for 8 hours without walking around, you are closer to your grave. While you are sitting, you are expected to stand up and exercise to increase blood flow around the vital organ. But the person that do heavy work in the sun is expected not to stay there for more than 4 hours. You take shade, you rest, and then you rehydrate yourself. That rehydration is very, very important if you do not want the cells of the body to die. So that is it.
All right, thank you so much. We've been talking about issues relating to mental health and, of course, some diseases or illnesses that could come from workplaces. We have a number of messages here. This is from Isaac. Remember, you can send your messages to the numbers showing on your screen. This is from Isaac. It says, in my own opinion, Nigerians are a very industrious set of human beings. In Lagos, for example, most people go to work by 4:30 a.m. and return by 6 p.m. Just to beat traffic, there should be time for rest. I feel employers should give their workers adequate break time during working hours in order to distress themselves. How would you react to that?
Well, they
In fact,
already have standards.
most people that go to work around 4:30, most of them don't get back to their homes.
Till night.
Yes, until
night.
Yes, until 11, 10 and all of that. Yes.
ILO has standard for all this. But because of our environment, we are handicapped. What do? Okay, if I am one-man business and you're expected to resume 8 o'clock, and you say because I want to give you extra hours, you are resuming 10 o'clock, my business will die. My business will suffer. So also federal government or even state government. We, the civil servants, are the tools government use to run their activities. So in as much as, why is the person leaving home? It's because he wants to beat traffic. When you leave home and you get to office, what some of us does is to look for a quiet place and sleep. But if you're now asking for enough break, I hope you know, Isaac, you don't tell your employer that. You're only soliciting because the employer will say, go and come back next time.
In one of these developed countries, we're able to see where workers were given about 1 hour to sleep every afternoon.
Yes, French countries.
Yes, one of the developed countries, so to speak. I think Japan, this
Further
Asian
developed,
countries.
most French countries allow their people to go and have their siesta, rest, redress in the afternoon, 1 hour. Yeah, ILO is 1 hour. You're entitled to an hour break.
So what do you think about adopting that in
To
Nigeria?
Nigeria,
And do
you
think
just
it
say
will work?
developed.
Mm.
Honestly, when you leave this country, you won't want to compare the
Okay.
country with other people. Starting from our airport,
Mm.
if you are landing in any country, you are happy. If you are if you are coming back home, so we will start. Charity begins at home. We'll start from arranging, putting things in order before
Okay.
we move to this level. You understand? You first of all motivate this one. Let's even go to the level of motivation. You motivate them to work by making available things. Some countries, I was in India some time ago.
Okay.
Their workers, in between, they go and take tea.
Well.
In between, you go, you pass, you see something, you pick on the table, either candy.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It is quite conducive working. They work with smile, but sometimes we work in a very harsh condition. And it is not the people that is concerned. The top people should work on it, and let's see how we will adopt what is done in developed country to Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much. There's this post on LinkedIn, one of these professional social media platforms, and that lady was saying that, okay, this is what my company is doing. My company told us that they understand what is happening and all of that, and because of that, they give everybody inconvenience allowance.
Beautiful. So those are the things. You try as much as possible to motivate them. When you motivate them financially, you motivate them by praise. Commend them. In the wall, you could talk about good things about your staff, and when you are doing that, their heads will arouse and they will do more.
Okay, we'll be talking about issues regarding mental health. We have to go on this break to see what we have in the world of sport, and right after that, we have opinions from people on the streets of Lagos concerning the topic we're discussing at this time. We'll be back. Please go nowhere.
Football is the most popular sport in Nigeria, and millions of citizens play and watch the game regularly. The country is one of the best in Africa, winning 3 African Cup of Nations AFCON titles and participating in 6 World Cups. Coaches are an integral part of football. They are the ones that dish out the techniques and styles of a team, and the duty of each player is to duly implement the pattern of the gaffer, which is why the coach is held accountable whether a team wins or loses. Nigeria has its fair share of legends and coaches who have made remarkable achievements in the beautiful game. These are some of the best coaches in Nigeria. Clement Westerhoff. Former Super Eagles coach Clement Westerhoff, arguably the most successful Super Eagles coach of all time. Westerhoff spearheaded the Nigerian golden generation. He was at the dugout when the country won its second AFCON title in 1992. The Dutchman was responsible for Nigeria's first ever FIFA World Cup qualification, which they exited in the round of 16, losing 2-1 to Italy. Nigeria became the African nation with the highest ever Federation of International Football Federation FIFA ranking when they ranked 5th in April 1994 with Westerhoff in charge. Stephen Keshi. Stephen Keshi is not only one of Nigeria's most successful coaches, but he is also one of Nigeria's best ever players. Keshi made 60 appearances for Nigerian Super Eagles and captained the team to glory in 1994 African Cup of Nations. He led the Super Eagles to their 3rd AFCON titles in 2013, becoming one of the only 2 players that have won the AFCON as a player and coach. Otto Gloria. Otto Gloria was a Brazilian manager known for his numerous managerial achievements in Europe. Otto Gloria was the man who infused confidence into the Nigerian footballing world and set up the nation to become a footballing powerhouse when he won their first AFCON title in 1980. Joe Bonfer. Joe Bonfer was the man behind Nigeria's infamous triumph at Atlanta 1996 Olympic Games. Nigeria dramatically overcame stronger teams like Brazil and Argentina to clinch gold in one of the greatest moments in Nigeria's sporting history. Bonfair took Nigeria to a second place finish at AFCON 2000, a tournament co-hosted by Nigeria and Ghana. He handled the Nigerian nation women's team and various other teams in his lengthy career. Shuaibu Amadu led the Super Eagles to the World Cup tournament in 2002 and 2010, but never coached the team at the World Cup. He also managed numerous Nigerian clubs and was briefly on the touchline for Orlando Pirates in 1996 and 1997. He finished third in AFCON twice and fourth in FIFA Confederations Cup, once as a coach of the national team.
Every summer would drink. Yes, like most of these establishments, they need to create a kind of clinic, so to say, at least to give them first aid whenever there is an issue, so to say. Then they have to provide at least health medical services for people who might fall sick, whether during the course of the walking or whatever, so that at least medical attention can get to them. And you see a way of substituting the costs for them. You see, it's not only when we work from morning till night that we can achieve all. Employers need to give people enough time to go for break, rest before coming back to work. But you see some people, they work from 8 a.m. to even 6 or 7 in the evening without having a break to rest. It's not properly done. Not everybody needs to go to work. There are some people that are on computer. You need to network, work at home, then send the message to your boss or to whoever needs to be. So by so doing, we reduce the stress of going to work every day.
The challenges on that is basically the living environment of the employee. How close, how far, what is the distance of the employee to the working environment? It determines someone working at VI now and living at Agege or Songo. There's nothing employer can do about it. You understand? The person in question must actually have strategy. Individual employee must have strategy on their own to prevent health-related stress. So the employer can actually help them by increasing their salary, giving them transportation allowance. They can even give them accommodation very close to the business environment. So with that, I think that will reduce stress.
Like you use Lagos as an example, you know, sometimes because of the cost of living in Lagos, sometimes these things, like it's just that we naturally our state, or let's say our country, we lack a lot of infrastructure. Like you see, in terms of the good road, the companies, imagine, and I'm coming from Ikotu, my office is at Pangrove. Can imagine the stress I used to come to this place. If there's a way one can do it in such a way whereby, okay, now I'm here, you station me, we have another part whereby we are working, and I have a station where I'm working in Ikotu. It will be less stressful for me, and it will still be beneficial to my own health, because there will be no more stress. Like I have to wake up like 4:30 before I get dressed and to beat the traffic to get here. You understand? So those I think is still part of you trend, maybe reducing this year in terms of work related issues. I think like that one is not even supposed to be something to debate on, because naturally as an employee you are supposed to as an employer you are supposed to have all these things on ground. A good company is supposed to have have health insurance for the staff, because my own company we do, you get. So I don't know, like for me I cannot work with somebody that doesn't have my safety at hand, you get. So I cannot be working for you at the long run, not have other things to to benefit from. Leave allowance, all those ones, 60 part of it. Like if you are working for an organization, you are entitled to your 21 days leave, or you are entitled to a month in a year, like, you understand. So it depends on you. Like the first 6 months you take your 2 weeks, the other 6 months you take, or if you choose to do the first 3 months a week, like that's I'm just looking for my own company, so I don't know about others. So it's like that, it depends on their planning. So I think leave is also part of what you should do.
My name is Engineer Elvis Omowoje.
Thank you so much for joining us again. Of course, you just listened to what people had to say concerning work-related illnesses or diseases, as the case may be. But then, a lot of them are talking about stress, as it were. What's your reaction to what you just said?
Yeah, out of the abundance of the heart,
Okay,
the mouth
speak it. Okay.
Yes, almost everybody is going through stress. Not just Lagos, but Lagos is center. Even the villages, many people cannot go to farm again because of fear of being kidnapped. Many are afraid because of fear of being raped. Many are afraid because they want to use them. There are a lot of things has caused us stress. A lot has affected our psychic. A lot has made us not to reason well any longer. But in the aspect of stress, with what everybody has said on the street, yes, everybody is speaking from their own point of view. You have to, like that man said, you have to manage your own stress. You have to create a means of things that the way it will work out for you. Organization too will do their own. Somebody that is living in Ogun State, some people come from middle of Ewekoro to Yaba to work. So it's you that will know how you manage yourself. Some go to office and they never come back home until 3 or 4 days till weekend. Some will leave very early. And I'm not advising anybody to jump out early again because it is dangerous. We are neither safe going out because you don't know the type of bus you will enter. So you just have to manage your stress anyhow you can because nobody will do it for you.
All right, let's look at the common results of not managing stress. Let's quickly look at that. What can stress lead to, so to speak, when it is not properly managed?
Good. I want to give an illustration. When you have a bottle, you have another one with, you have a bowl. There's a gauge where that bottle will contain. You continue pouring. When that bottle is filled up, what happens? It overflows and it might not even flow into a useful container or whatever. That is what stress looks like. When you continue to bounce on the body, keep bouncing and keep loading it, and one day the whole body system will say, I can no longer continue. They will hands down. And if they hands down, they can get to you either physical or mental. The physical aspect of it, there are different stress-related physical illnesses, ranging from body pain. You have asthma. Even asthma can come during stress. When you go through stress, a lot of things they will tell you is due to stress. And then psychologically, when the stress is much, you can break down, not communicating well, transferring your aggression, anxiety, withdrawn, reactive depressions, and so on. And then mentally, psychiatrically or mentally, in aspect of, I'm trying to differentiate psychology with the psychiatry. Psychiatry this time around is where it has become a problem that you need psychiatrists, you need medical team to manage you. And some of these illnesses might range from major depression. You can have schizophrenic disorders. You can have manic depressive psychosis. Any of these could come up as a result of stress.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's quickly take one or two messages before we round off. This is Finyolua Folarin. Says, in my own opinion, some employers are wicked. Some of them use their workers to a wreck, and then they fall sick as a result of exhaustion. And even the generator we use, we put engine oil to lubricate it so that the engine wouldn't knock. Then how much more we humans, our body particularly, our brain is our engine. So adequate rest is needed. Employers should set up HMO medical services for their staff in order to take care of their health. This one from Lucky says, sometimes we forget to rest. Let's remember that even God created this world, rested on the Sabbath day. Employees should give their staff monthly leave so that they can unwind. The leave should come with bonuses. This says, okay, I think I've said what this Lucky said here. He said, I was watching on the news the other day, and they said Japan gives their staff an hour to sleep during work hours in order to boost the productivity of the staff. Can you see that? Well, how would you react to that?
So sorry we find ourselves in an environment where nobody can speak for us. Yes, you can't try overusing your worker in a developed country. Don't know where to report to. But when you try it here, the employer will even collect that job. He's doing you a favor. As far as they are concerned, they are doing you a favor. And you too, you will not like to leave that job. Like the early person has said, we should just look for a way of managing ourselves. The issue of the employer treating their employee with kindness is very, very paramount. Honestly, it is important. Share love with your employee. And give them time to rest. Yes, give them off, even if it is once a week or twice a week, depends on the type of job they do and the hours they render to that services. Then inwardly try to create room that is enabling them to communicate to you, to function well, motivate them in different ways. Like they said, leave with benefit. I wonder, even if federal government, do they still give leave with benefit? I don't know. But some corporate organizations do. But how many people can find themselves in that corporate organization? You understand? Honestly, Nigeria has a very long way to go, and God will help us.
All right, thank you so much. I've been speaking with Veronica Eze. She's the CEO of Adicare Rehabilitation Center and also a psychiatric nurse. We've been talking a lot about the issue of mental wellness, mental health conditions and all of that, what you need to do, how you need to manage your stress, and of course ensure that work-related illnesses will not bring you down. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Veronica.
Thank you, Mr. Rotimi.
All right, we have to go now. Be sure to join us next week, same time, same station. If you have contributions or whatever questions you have, you can drop them on our social media pages. The handle is @your_viewpoint. We'll be back again. I am Rotimi Aketude. Thank you so much for being there. Bye for now.